This is the PlayStation 3 FAT. Recently I encountered an interesting problem where the reject button would no longer respond. This of course was very frustrating, so I tore into it to see what was going on. Now you have to remove the top cover of the machine, and there's lots of videos around, including one by me, which shows you how to do that. So if you don't know how to do that, please refer to one of those videos. This is the machine with the top removed. And this is where those two switches are, power and optical drive eject. They're basically little springs. What they do is they contact these metal contacts here on the top of the machine. See, those are our controls. Okay. When you touch those controls, I believe what's happening is you're changing the capacitance on these pieces of metal. They in turn, they contact right about here and right about there. Okay, so these have to actually be in contact with these. Okay, they have to actually physically touch them. With the top removed and these metal spring buttons exposed, you can test whether the button circuits themselves are working. All you have to do is lightly touch the metal, and we see that the power button is working. Now we can test whether the eject button circuit is working by just touching it very lightly. So we know that the circuitry itself is working. That way we confirm that the problem is simply one of contact between this metal tab and the metal surface on top of it. This is also a good way to eject any disc that might have gotten stuck inside of the Blu-ray player because this metal contact wasn't working. This is a close-up of these two spring buttons. This is the power button, and this is the Blu-ray eject button. Basically, they're just little metal tabs bent into the shape of the letter S. So they have a little bit of springiness to them. So what you want is enough spring tension so that they are pressing pretty firmly against the metal above them, making a good contact. Now what happens over time is these will start to sort of lie down. They'll lose that spring tension, and they'll get sort of flat, and the contact will become weak. And with a little bit of oxidation, they will lose contact and the button will no longer function. The fix is quite simple. You just sort of take these, you have to sort of bend them up a little bit, just sort of grab them and just sort of, but be very gentle. These are really thin, delicate pieces of metal. You could easily break these things, but you just want to give it a little bit of a pull, maybe add like a millimeter of height. You have to deform the metal, okay? You have to bend it upward. In other words, you have to sort of take that letter S and sort of pull it outward a little bit. And then you should make good contact. If after the first try it doesn't work, then maybe stretch it a little bit more. And you should eventually get good contact. We'll go ahead and put our lid back on and see how we did. Try the power button, and it works okay. And the eject button, and it works okay too. Good. A nice simple fix. Just, don't be too aggressive. Just be gentle with it and just raise it just a little bit so that those tabs make good solid metal contact.